Hey there guys, and welcome back. As always, thanks so much for clicking on this video and joining me as we talk about some movie news. We're going to be diving back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we're going to be talking about Captain America: Brave New World. This movie is literally a week away from release. I go back and forth about being excited about this movie. Sometimes I'm kind of like, meh, I don't really care all that much. It's not really Captain America. It doesn't feel like Captain America. But then sometimes I'm reading articles about new things that are going to be in this movie, and then it does get me excited. So I kind of go back and forth. I'm not really sure how to make my mind up about this movie, but reading into these articles and the news we're going to get into in this video, it definitely gets me more excited, that's for sure. So we're going to be talking about two stories in this video. The first one, we're going to be talking about the introduction of Adamantium into the MCU. There's been a recent TV spot that came out which showcased Adamantium's going to be in this movie. Also, we have one of the filmmakers talking to Screen Rant about Adamantium and its kind of role within the movie, so we're going to get to that. And then in the second story, we're going to be talking about the Red Hulk, showcasing some of his powers out of the comic books, where he's going to be having the flames and heat kind of rising out of his body, which is really, really cool. So let's get into both of these stories, let's break it down, and let's see what we can learn about Captain America: Brave New World. So we're going to start off with this from comicbookmovie.com. Captain America: Brave New World director confirms Adamantium introduction will lead to Project X and Wolverine. Obviously, as soon as you say Adamantium, straight away, in the minds of us comic book movie fans, we go straight to X-Men, straight to Wolverine, Project X, all that great stuff. And we know that the mutants are coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe sooner rather than later. And having Adamantium show up in this movie is one notch closer to having the mutants, X-Men, Wolverine kind of showing up. It's kind of that connective tissue and that we've all been waiting so long for. So like I said, it definitely gets me more excited for this movie. But let's get into this news here. So in Eternals, the celestial Tiamat began emerging from the Earth, but was stopped by the titular superhero team when they decided to save the planet they'd spent millennia watching over. While some of the Eternals were taken from Earth by Arasham in their role in Tiamat's demise, the rest set off in search of their missing friends. The movie wasn't a critical or commercial hit, and there's currently no indication we'll see their story continue in the MCU. There's been rumours going around for a long time about Eternals 2 being in production. I don't believe any of these rumours, but yeah, unfortunately the movie flopped pretty badly, and it didn't do the kind of box office figures that Marvel wanted it to. So is there potential that we could see the Eternal characters show up in another movie rather than having their own movie, a sequel? That could be possible, so we'll have to wait and see if that happens. However, Tiamat Island will return in Captain America: Brave New World, and we'll learn that the Celestials' remains are the source of Adamantium on the Sacred Timeline. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been complaining for years now. This big, huge Celestial is kind of sticking up out of the earth, and no other Marvel films or TV shows have kind of addressed this or talked about it, referenced it, alluded to it, or anything like that. This big Celestial is just stuck out of the earth, and no one or no Marvel show or movie has just addressed it. And people have been kind of like, Marvel seem to go nowhere with it, what's going on? And now it seems that in Captain America: Brave New World, they're finally addressing this huge Celestial sticking out of the ground, and this is going to be our source of Adamantium. And it looks like the movie's going to be built around this kind of Adamantium struggle, you know, which government's going to be mining it, controlling it, keeping stock of it, all this kind of stuff. And this is kind of what some of the movie is based on. So, talking to Screen Rant, filmmaker Julius Ona addressed the difference between adamantium and vibranium. That's another confusion between a lot of fans as well. Confirming the plans is for one day... Let me say that again. Confirming the plan is for it to one day be part of Project X and the creation of Wolverine. Yeah, like I said, we all know adamantium. Obviously, that's what Wolverine's exoskeleton, that's what his claws are built out of. Project X, ultimately, which turns Wolverine. He starts off with the bone claws, and then obviously he goes into Project X, and then adamantium gets fused into his skeleton, and he becomes the Wolverine that we all know and love. So it does have that connective tissue. But this is what the filmmaker here, Julius Ona, had to say when talking to Screen Rant. So, quote, "Adamantium is much more durable. Adamantium is not like vibranium, which can absorb kinetic energy. Adamantium, as we know, will eventually be part of Project X. It will eventually be part of the story of Wolverine. So adamantium now becomes this resource that could change the world in a way that's very different, because vibranium is something that is really under the preview of the Wakandans. So that's the difference here. So vibranium, it can absorb kinetic energy, but it's not as durable as adamantium. And vibranium is squarely under the stewardship of the Wakandans, whereas Adamantium isn't. Adamantium's kind of up for grabs, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different governments and shady organizations trying to get their hands on it. So, where are we? Vibranium is under the purview of the Wakandans. This is why it becomes an amazing geopolitical football in our film. Yeah, like I was saying, so an amazing geopolitical football in our film. So this is going to be the kind of the MacGuffin, the kind of the source of power that everybody's kind of going after. There's going to be shady mercenaries, shady groups, black ops groups, governments, people all around the world kind of scrambling to get this adamantium to use it for their own nefarious purposes. And I'm sure a lot of the story is going to be kind of featuring around what's going on with that. So he also says this, but also what's so great about the MCU is an opportunity to take things that are iconic from the publishing and to find a way to reimagine them for this universe in a way that could be really exciting. And because we haven't had mutants in the past, because we haven't had adamantium, it became such a fun way to surprise audiences with a new sort of vision of what it could be. And I'm just pinching myself that I get to have a movie that introduces Red Hulk, that introduces Adamantium, that introduces Serpent Society. It is fun for me as a geek, and I think it's going to be a blast for all the audiences when they get to see this movie. Yeah, I mean, the more, like I keep saying, the more I read about this movie, the more interested I get in it. We've got Serpent Society, we've got Red Hulk, we've got Adamantium, you know, all this great stuff. But the one thing that's still letting me down is I just still don't feel that this is a Captain America film. It feels like a Falcon movie. But I hope by the end of the movie, I actually feel like this is now Captain America. That's what the movie's there to do. I hope it does convince us that he's actually Captain America and not Falcon. But I'm crossing my fingers that that's kind of what we come out of this movie with. But yeah, guys, so that's kind of the quote there from the filmmaker, Julius Onah, towards Screen Rant, talking about Adamantium. And basically, it's going to be a geopolitical football in the film with different organizations going after it. So we're going to move on to the next topic of this video anyway, and we're going to be talking about the Red Hulk. Another fantastic thing going for this movie. I mean, having Harrison Ford, the legend himself, portraying Thaddeus Ross as the Red Hulk. I mean, how cool is that? That's just worth the ticket of admission alone. Even if the Hulk is on screen for like 5 seconds, it's worth seeing in my opinion. Because, I mean, again, Harrison Ford as the Hulk. I mean, come on. So, let's go up to here quickly. So, rumor has it that Red Hulk won't have a huge amount of screen time in Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, I've been hearing about that. I don't expect him to be on screen for a long time. As long as there's a kind of an interesting fight scene between him and Anthony Mackie, you know, that's kind of all I want. But I'm not expecting him to be in a large part of the film. With Marvel Studios being selective with how much they've shown in the trailers, we've yet to see whether the villain's body temperature will also rise with his anger. So, filmmaker Julius Onah, again, the same guy that we just talked about, now confirmed, quote, "We get to see the heat waves around the Red Hulk. We get to see the flames." Here's the full quote from Screen Rant. So, he also went on to say this about the Red Hulk. So, what's so great about the Hulk and the creation of this character from publishing is that he's this expression of pure, unadulterated rage. And I say it's relatable because we've all had those moments where we just want to get angry and we hold it in. Well, Hulk gets to let it out. And because it's part of Ross's emotional journey in the film, not only was this something that was meaningful, but it's also something that still is fun and action-driven. So you're getting 2 levels of it. The escapism of it, but it's still something that is emotional and character-driven and part of the theme of this film. So Red Hulk is very special in this film, and we get to lean into what's unique about him, his heat. We get to see the heat waves around him, we get to see flames. That's so damn cool. So the angrier he gets, the hotter he gets, and then like heat waves and flames are coming off of him. That's gonna look so badass. I have my ticket booked for this movie on the biggest screen, this kind of like special premium plus screen at my local cinema. That's gonna look badass. That scene alone, the Red Hulk getting angry with flames and heat coming off of him. Take my money. I mean, that's just worth it, man. Just to go and see that. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's so exciting, and I'm still pinching myself that I got to do this, and especially with Harrison Ford bringing the Red Hulk to life, it's a real treat. Again, Harrison Ford, I mean, the legend himself, you know, it's great to have him in the movie, taking over for the role of Thaddeus Ross. But yeah, guys, so that's kind of where we are. That's the 2 stories that we have there to talk about. The fact that Adamantium is going to be introduced in this movie with different organizations kind of fighting over it. It's going to be a geopolitical football, as it says in the quote here. And then also the second story that we're going to get Red Hulk, and as he gets more angrier, like the flames and the heat is going to be coming off of him, which we see in the comics, but it's now coming over to live action. That's going to look so badass. But guys, that's kind of where we are. So just a small update there, a couple of news stories about the upcoming Captain America Brave New World movie. Like I say, the more I read about it, the more excited I get. I have gone back and forth and kind of dithered on whether I'm that excited for this movie. But after reading this kind of stuff, guys, it does get me a lot more excited for the ramifications that this movie is going to have for the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. So I'm definitely excited to see it, and I really, really hope that by the end of this movie, Anthony Mackie can win over the fans as the Captain America in this universe, because the guy is a fantastic actor. He's paid his dues on screen over the last few years in the MCU, and now the fact that he's Captain America, I hope he can win the fans over and people will actually see him as the de facto Captain America going forward, because the guy has earned it, in my opinion. But guys, I throw it off to you. You hear these two news stories. Does it get you more excited for Captain America Brave New World? You know, are you excited to see it? Have you booked your ticket? Let me know what you think about this story down in the comment section below. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. As always, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button and become a subscriber of the channel if you haven't done so already. It goes a long way to supporting the content, so I always appreciate that. And I will see you in the next video.